Hey, so, I'm really raring to make another video because I've got my video editing software and I've got my YouTube's channel now, and I really just want to make another video and play around with everything and have some fun and not have one single video on my YouTube channel. Make this one, I'll have two! There was something I saw posted on Facebook today. As I mentioned in my previous video, I am always on Facebook. I use it a lot for work and for my own personal interests and connections and whatnot. Here is something that got posted that really just, it's not that I hate it, it just kind of bothers me how often I see it. I feel like I need to say something, as I often do. But I saw yet another post, something along the lines of 15 ways to talk to an introvert, 25 reasons that it's better to be an introvert, 13 things you don't understand about being an introvert, and blah, 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 blah. I always see tons and tons of posts about introverts, how they're like an oppressed peoples or something like that, which I don't quite understand, because I'm like, introverts are different than extroverts. Yes, I get that, but that doesn't mean that they're oppressed. And all these posts always make it sound like they're just misunderstood. They're tired of it. They want people to understand who they really are. I find it really fascinating, though, that the opposite is never the case. You never see a ton of posts that say like 25 things you'll never understand about being an extrovert. They're there, but that's because like extroverts like myself go out of our way to create them and be like, you just, what? Because we're tired of seeing introverts constantly talking like we don't understand them. I'm going to clarify this right now. I get it, okay? I understand. I understand that you're different than me and that things are different for you. But you know, all I ask is that you extend the same courtesy. A lot of people who bitch and complain about a certain demographic of people, or, you know, anti-demographic of people, like, you know, people who are not them, feminists will complain about misogynists a lot, or at least, you know, people they think are misogynists. It's never about, oh, you don't understand what it's like to be a woman. It's more about, like, you hate women. Anyway, these people who complain about certain demographics or complain about, like, people who are not their demographic, it's always like a double standard that comes out of it. They expect you to treat them a certain way or to act differently around them, but they don't turn around and do the same thing. And my favorite is like the comics, like what an introvert is like and what an extrovert is like. And the introvert is always shown in like this, oh, they're so intelligent and thoughtful, but extroverts are just like shown as like these like inconsiderate, insensitive partiers, and that's all we are. I spit on my screen there. Gross. I don't understand how you can rail against something so passionately and be like, I'm an introvert, I want to be understood, and that's great. I mean, everybody should try to be understood, that's awesome, but then turn around and treat extroverts like dicks. I'm an extrovert, and there are pros and cons of both. There are benefits to being an introvert. There are also benefits to being an extrovert. There are cons to being an introvert, like people think you're shy, or, you know, you don't express your feelings the way you should. There are also cons to being an extrovert, like, for example, people think you're an inconsiderate dick, that you're inconsiderate and you're insensitive and that all you do is party all the time, which is not true. First of all, let me clarify what the difference between an introvert and extrovert are, as far as I understand it. It has nothing to do necessarily with your social interactions. It has to do with how you recharge yourself, where you draw your energy from. An introvert, for example, gets their energy from themselves, from within. At the end of a long day, they're exhausted, they're tired, they've been at work, they just want to sit in peace and quiet by themselves with a good book or just alone with their thoughts, and that is how they recharge their batteries. Where an extrovert, on the other hand, draws their energy from external. See, internal, external, introvert, extrovert. An extrovert draws their energy from external sources, other people. At the end of a long day, after a long week of work or whatever, an extrovert like myself likes to socialize. Like, I recharge my batteries by interacting with other people, having fun with other people, and letting loose. That's really the only difference. An introvert is not necessarily shy and secluded. I've known introverts who socialize very well. They just, after socializing, need to have their own private time, their own quiet time. And I have known extroverts who are very socially awkward or suffer from social anxiety. Just because somebody is extroverted doesn't mean that they're super, super outgoing and popular. And just because somebody's introverted doesn't mean that they're super, super shy and afraid of people. It is not at all what those terms mean. And when somebody's like, oh, she's just an introvert. And what they really mean to say is, well, she's shy. It really gets my goat when I see these posts constantly about introverts and how they're like oppressed or just misunderstood, when I feel like extroverts are equally oppressed and misunderstood. Why aren't there more posts about it? Probably because we're too busy talking, or we don't feel like we need to, create a post about it because we're just going to tell every person that we know. But it just kind of annoys me. There was a time there where I just saw them like all the time, like on a daily basis, all these posts about introverts, and I was getting so upset about them, and I don't want to be like, shut the hell up! That's rude. You want to be understood. I totally get it. And you get tired of people passing judgments about you. But all I ask is that you don't pass judgments about extroverts either. And if you look at a lot of these posts, a lot of them tend to view extroverts in a very negative sort of way. They are the enemy. It's all about my demographic versus your demographic. And I think it should just be about trying to understand. I just want you to understand my demographic, and I just want you to understand who I am. Maybe then if you understand me, then we can learn to communicate better. And that's really what the focus should be. But instead it becomes about, I'm good, they're bad. It's always us versus them, instead of just, trying to just be human beings and treat each other like human beings. I'm all about treating people like human beings. Let's stop putting labels on people. Let's stop passing judgments about people based on stupid things like that. I think we should judge a person by their actions first, before we judge them based on their gender, their race, their religious affiliations, their sexual preference, blah, 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 their age, I think your actions should speak louder than anything else. And if you treat people with respect and dignity, then you are deserving of respect and dignity. Where if you treat people like shit, then you have no right to demand any respect from anybody. Yay!